Nós temos que enfrentar os nossos problemas. Chega de frescura e de mimimi. Vamos ficar chorando até quando?
Stop whining. That was the message from Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro last month as his country was fast becoming an epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic. For many of his citizens stricken with COVID-19, finding energy just to breathe is hard enough. The healthcare system has been pushed to the brink, overwhelmed with tens of thousands of new infections each day, forcing some medical staff to do the unthinkable. With reports that in some hospitals sedatives have run out, so critical patients have had to be physically tied down so they can be intubated.
The patient is subjected to a form of torture and cannot even ask for help when he or she feels uncomfortable in the situation they are in. That is why the lack of these drugs has made us suffer a lot with our profession, and question every day when it will end and when we will have some consolation.
Brazil is now only second to the United States with the number of pandemic deaths. The daily death toll is the world's highest, and March was the deadliest month so far. 66,573 people died. More than half of the patients in intensive care in that month were under 40 years old.
Please take care. You don't want to lose someone. It's very painful. We saw a family being destroyed not a long time ago. A father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, all in the same family. So it's very sad.
So many people are dying that in Sao Paulo, gravediggers bury the deceased at night. Funerals are held in darkness. In Brazil, even the cemeteries are overwhelmed by the pandemic. Medical groups have been demanding a national lockdown as the country struggles with a new variant of the virus. The president has repeatedly rejected that advice. He says the economic damage would do more harm than the virus.
Não vai ter lockdown nacional. Como alguns ousam dizer por aí que as Forças Armadas deveriam ajudar alguns governadores nas suas medidas restritivas. O nosso exército brasileiro não vai à rua para manter o povo dentro de casa.
The Supreme Court has ordered a congressional inquiry into the government's response to the health crisis. It'll investigate whether the president has been negligent in handling the pandemic. Bolsonaro is one of the few world leaders who has played down the severity of the virus, calling it a little flu. He's proudly flaunted social distancing measures and gone as far as to say a COVID vaccine would turn people into crocodiles. Yet he bristles at criticism of the way he's handled the crisis.
Eu acho que eu sou o único líder mundial que apanha isoladamente. O mais fácil é ficar do lado da massa, da grande maioria. Se evita problemas, não é acusado de genocida, não sofre ataques por parte de gente que pensa diferente de mim.
Bolsonaro continues to face fires from multiple fronts. The vaccination rollout has been slow, unemployment and poverty keep rising, and then there's the implosion of his own cabinet. In March, he sacked the defence minister, and the country is up to health minister number 4 since the pandemic started. Bolsonaro has been a polarising figure from the far right since he entered politics. His anti-establishment approach helped secure his first term in office. He'll be relying on a core base of supporters when he seeks re-election next year. One of his most vocal critics is also eligible to run against him, the left-wing former president Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. But before that election can be contested, Brazil needs to chart a path out of the pandemic, and that prospect appears more difficult by the day. Natalie Perhanen, The Newsmakers.